Hello and welcome to Christian Weather Broadcasting. Today we're going to be forecasting post-tropical cyclone Ian. It is not a tropical storm nor a hurricane anymore because, as you can see, that center, it really doesn't have a center anymore. I do believe it's being sucked into a cold front. Because of this really messed up center, it's been downgraded to a post-tropical cyclone. Still has winds of 70 miles per hour, so still expect those gusty winds for tonight. And I do want to apologize for hyping this storm up earlier this morning. I thought it was going to be more than it was. Turns out, luckily, that it's less than it was, so I'm actually kind of grateful for that. But again, I apologize for that. So, what to expect if you live in South Carolina, North Carolina, and now even Virginia? Expect some blustery winds today through tonight, and possibly expect some maybe down trees, expect some possible house damage, and expect those blustery winds to be moving through. Let's bring you some video from South Carolina. As you can see, there are those gusty winds moving through. It's enough wind to move the trees around. And some of those gusts that are coming in are decent tropical storm force wind gusts, as you can see, just enough to cause that rain to start blowing. Also, there is some house damage footage that I'm going to show you right now. Alrighty, so you can see some of those shingles starting to peel off in this tropical storm force wind in South Carolina. And here comes one of those gust starts, and it peeled a shingle right off the house. So do expect some possible house damage if you live in the areas where this storm is moving through. Not extreme house damage, but if you have an outdated roof, definitely expect some shingles to be peeled off. Let's go to what the National Hurricane Center is forecasting for this storm. Right now, 70-mile-an-hour wind, 982 pressure, moving luckily at 15 miles an hour, so it is a faster storm. You can read these key messages for post-tropical cyclone Ian. There will be a link in the description. The most important thing is there is a possibility of river flooding for Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia. Let's take a look at the wind history. You can see that there were hurricane force winds that moved on into South Carolina. Let's go to the cone right now. You can see that those hurricane force winds will be tropical storm force winds will be affecting portions of South Carolina, North Carolina, and as the storm moves further, even up into Virginia, there are also tropical storm warnings extending from around Charleston all the way up through the coast of North Carolina. Let's go to the rainfall potential. Certain areas near Roanoke, Virginia could experience 4 to 6 inches of rain, and other areas in North Carolina and Virginia, even up further around Washington, D.C., could experience 2 to 4 inches of rain. Not extremely bad rain, but if you live in a flood zone that is prone to flooding, be prepared for the possibility of some flooding. You can see a moderate chance of flooding for certain areas in South Carolina, North Carolina, and up into Virginia. Wind speed probabilities, 90% chance for South Carolina and North Carolina, and I would expect that percent chance to go up as that tropical storm force wind moves on into North Carolina. So don't expect extremely bad weather for these areas, but definitely expect some blustery conditions and probably something you shouldn't go outside driving in or be outside in, to be honest, because there could be trees. And if you live in a house, trees falling down. If you live in a house that is prone to trees falling down, go to the other side of the house where there isn't trees falling down. 2 to 4 feet of storm surge extending from South Santee River up to Duck, North Carolina. Because the storm has moved closer to land, the winds are now pushing the water in this area up onto land. Not extremely bad storm surge, but definitely expect it to be up to certain areas where it wasn't before that storm surge came in. Tracks, as you can see, it's going to be moving up through the Virginia and then out over the water. It will not re-strengthen over the water because it's now part of another cold front, and it's going to weaken now that it is on land. Thank you for watching. This has been Christian Weather Broadcasting.